Satnam Aloha. So today's video, I want to talk about Uranus moving into Taurus. But first, I want to talk about the solar plexus mutation, and the solar flares have just been kicking me hard this week. And maybe you are experiencing the same thing as me, like just wired. I feel like my nervous system is wired and trouble sleeping a lot, like exhausted from the solar flare activity. And the ancients actually told us, like the ancients, that we would know we would be going through the shift of the ages when we would see a lot of solar activity, and we're moving through a solar maximum right now. So we're going to have more and more of these solar flares. So they're not just, coming towards the earth, they're hitting our body's codes, and they're affecting the electromagnetic field of the earth. That's the aura of the earth. They're penetrating the aura of the earth, but they're also penetrating our electromagnetic field, our aura. And this electromagnetic holds the memories, our ancestral memories, intact. So this is helping release these memories. And so the body is an ancient system that we've inherited from our ancestors, and we have to work with the body, not against it. So what we're doing, if you're tired and wired, those are my two words this week, tired and wired, you're just adapting to more light, like your body's adapting to more light. So you want to work with your body and not against it, especially during this time. And it's doing a lot of clearing work. So the body can be, it's its own entity, and it does have an ego attached. I know some people have disagreed with that, and that's okay if you disagree. But my experience is yes, there is an ego that's attached to the emotion, to the body, the emotions, but also the body. This is the voice in your, you're listening to me. Maybe you're listening to me right now, and then a thought comes up. Oh, I'm hungry. I need to eat, or I need to have a coffee to be stimulated, or what am I going to make for dinner? That's your ego. That's the body ego. So there can be a lot of resistance from the body to these changes. So your consciousness is, if you're on my fractal, your consciousness is like, yeah, let's go, let's move forward. But then you have this body that you have to work with, right? So the body is where all the action is taking place. And so embodiment, that's a big word for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So this is not a time to talk yourself out of how you're feeling. If you're tired, then you're tired. Own it. And it's your body saying, I need to rest. And we get into fear around that. That's the ego gets into fear and generates fear. Well, my whole world will fall apart if I rest for a couple of hours. And when you're aligned with yourself and your authenticity, and if you need to rest, then everything around you conspires to help you to achieve that, right? So this is really a time to trust and have faith right now. So you may be feeling dizzy, like vertigo, emotional, crying for no reason, right? Angry, sad, just going through the whole gamut of all your emotionality. Heavy in the body. And just remember that you're not losing. The sun is releasing wave of light plasma right now, and your body's processing this in real time, right? So every nervous system carries an ancient survival code. So when that code feels like there's too much light, it goes into fear, and what will happen is you'll shut down or try to constrict that energy from moving. So this is just, the ego, the body's ego, like wanting to protect you in a sense, right? Because it's triggering a lot of ancient memories of survival and extinction. So you want to work with that during these times, right? This is part of the solar plexus mutation. It's triggering your solar plexus. That's your inner sun. So the outer sun and the inner sun are connected. Right? So if you're exhausted, rest. If you're emotional, breathe through it. Give yourself space. If you're dizzy, you want to ground, right? You want to ground, get outside, do some earthing, eat some grounding foods, drink some water. You just listen to your body. Your body will let you know what you need. You don't need a prescription. It's just like, you stop, close my eyes, connect with my body. What does my body want right now? And it might be really simple. Like, I just want a nap. I want a 10-minute nap, or I want to go outside and look at a tree, Okay, so I'll keep you abreast of that, like what's going on with the sun. I've been following the sun for a long time in terms of these solar flares. Okay, and so the next part before we get into Uranus is, what's my fractal saying? And so remember that I love, and I'm just not saying that, I love when people leave comments. It gives me feedback, constructive comments, not like attacking the messenger. I'm not interested in those people, and they're trolls. You don't belong on my channel. So go somewhere else, right? Go somewhere else. You don't need to throw bombs on this channel. But the people that are truly on my fractal, what are they saying? So we have something from Lori Brown at Lori Brown 3109, and clarifying question: is your authenticity when you're experiencing the gifts of your human design? So I put a human design chart up here so you can see, because I do the transits, remember, if you're new to my channel. And so there's a lot of people that have been MIA, and then they've come back to my channel. So this is the human design chart. So remember, you can go in the information box and get your free chart there so that you can follow along. So the difference between the transit and the natal is we have this red side, and that's the unconscious side. So in terms of authenticity, because you hear that a lot, and I'm going to be talking about that in today's video too, is authenticity is the new currency for this new Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix era that's coming in 2027. So your authenticity in your chart, they're not separate, right? They're not separate, but your human design gifts, when you start to study your chart a little bit more, your human design gifts are not something that you're chasing. They're not something that you're faking. Well, this person has the sun in the 8. That means they have to be unique it's the gift of uniqueness. It's the gift of style. So they go out and it's like, okay, everybody's wearing blue shirts, so I'm going to wear a red shirt. Right? I have to be unique. It's coming from the mind. It's not natural. The thing is to just go into your natural self. Your natural self, and you're the most natural when you're alone and nobody's around you, and you're not trying to please anybody or put yourself into a pretzel to please someone else. You're just your natural self. So you're not performing. You don't have a mask on. You're not compensating. You're not trying to prove your value. So it's not something you achieve. Your authenticity is not something that you achieve. It's not something that you do. It's what's left. When all your conditioning starts to fall away, this is what's left. And what's left is your chart, right? So what's left is you strip down, you become naked, right? In terms of your soul. So all that conditioning you received as a child, and then just living in this world, because we live in a not self world, right? So all that stuff that you've taken on, that falls away. All the conditioning falls away, and what's left is your authenticity. So I often use this analogy, and you might have heard this before, that you're born and you're a crystal, like a beautiful crystal glass. And then as you go through, you develop in this world, you get these fingerprints on you, And that's the fingerprint of your mother's projection and your father's projection and your school, your teacher, your friends, your extended family, your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you get all these fingerprints. And so deconditioning as you're wiping away the fingerprints. That's not me. That's not me. That's not me. And what's left is just you. It's not something you have to figure out, right? But this gives you a map. Gives you a map. Okay. So when you're when you're expressing these gifts, you're living your authenticity, right? So, yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. And this is the gift of human design, because there's even my own experience, there was things that I never liked about myself. And that things that other people, they didn't like it about me either. That's probably why I didn't like it about myself too. And then I learned human design and I learned my own chart. And it's like, oh, I so resonate with this part of myself that I disowned. I don't like that about myself, right? I provoke people. That's what my aura does. And now it's like I accept it. I see the beauty in it. So it's really about accepting the beauty of who you are, right? Your authentic, natural self. And sometimes a lot of people don't like that. They don't like your authenticity. But when you become more and more in your authentic self, then you start to really appreciate the authenticity in others. So it's an effortless expression is authenticity. And then it's when your design starts speaking through you, not when you're trying to manage it. Oh, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. It's like you put down the script and it starts expressing itself. Your chart starts to express itself through you. And when you study this system, especially projectors, when you study other people's charts, because we're very interested in other people, that's just the nature of the projector. It's a beautiful thing to start to see, oh, they're expressing through their chart right now. And that's why it feels so harmonious, right? There's a harmony in your connection when the other person is also in their authentic self, right? So Uranus and Taurus that we're getting into is shaking all that up. The not self, and it's going back into Taurus, and it's going back into the 8-6. Okay. So let's go here. So there's Uranus and Taurus. And it's been there since May 18th. Depending on where you are in the world. And my birthday, my solar return, and I remember this in 2018, it was like the strangest experience I ever had. And Uranus went into Taurus in my neck of the woods during my birthday, right? So I was born on May 16th. And I remember getting up and I had a coffee. It was my birthday. And I was really tired. It's like, I'm going to go back and just have a nap. Well, my nap turned out to be, I didn't get up until 11:30 p.m. that night. So I can't count how many hours I slept in a row. But it was the weirdest birthday. It was like, okay, I had 20 minutes on my birthday drinking my coffee and then the last half hour of my birthday. But I think that was the present for me at that time, was like to spend my birthday in the higher realms, right? Just to relax. So I see that as a gift, even though I don't have memory of it. But it was when Uranus went into Taurus, and I have a stellium in Taurus as well. And then it was the Taurus season as well. So 2018. So maybe this happened to you. If you could go back to 2018, maybe you had the same experience. And then today, Uranus went back into Taurus, November 7th. It was the same. I didn't sleep as long today, but I slept again a long, long time. So there's something about Uranus and Taurus for me. And then I have a stellium in Taurus. Okay, so it's been there since May 18th, 2018. And remember, it takes about 7 years for Uranus to leave a sign. So it stays in there about 7 years. And so July 7th of this year, 2025, it just had a little sneak peek into Gemini. This is like the trailer, for the big movie. And the trailer for Uranus and Gemini is going to happen April 25th to 2026. And then it's moving full on into Uranus and Gemini. So it's a little sneak peek because that's the 2027 energy. See? And it'll be there for 7 years. So it's there. It's back into Taurus now from November 7th to April 25th, 2026. Okay. And so in terms of the chart, this is the natal chart. So this is the exact time that Uranus moved into Taurus. So 29 degrees Taurus, 29:59 minutes. And you can see Uranus is here is the 8.6, the 8.6 there. So let's just talk about, so it's still in the full moon energy. Remember my last video on the full moon in Taurus was the second gate. And the second gate is about the magnetic monopole. So if you don't know about that, go back and watch that other video. So it's really showing us that Uranus and Taurus is, we're getting reoriented, right? So we're going to be put on the, some people, they're driving down the highway and they get to they're headed for their destination. Here I am, there's point B, I want to get to point B. Some people get distracted, right? They get distracted by karmic relationships, let's say, or a job that's not really aligned with their soul and their potential. That's like taking the ramp. I'm going to take the ramp and go down here. Well, Uranus is getting you back on that highway where you're supposed to be. And that's that second gate. So it's showing us something in terms of this energy. So let's go to the locks and keys. The locks and keys. So right here we got the locks and keys. So you've seen this before. I've used this a lot of times, the cycle of consciousness. This is giving us a map for our evolutionary process that we're in right now. So this is called a round that started in 33 BC, and that's ending in 3262. So this is the final round that we're in right now. So this is the end of the Homo sapiens, the humans as we know it. So we can see here that we're in the cross of planning. See, that started in 1615. It ends in 2027. And so there's keys and locks. So the locks are up here. They don't change. But the keys change. And so each of these numbers has a wealth of teachings behind them. And they give us a map to look at of what we've been through as our evolutionary process as humans, and then the future, what the future is. And there's a new 400-year cycle, 400-year plus cycle, and that's the cross of the sleeping phoenix, and that starts in 2027. So we're seeing the breakdown of this old consciousness, right? So the rules of the game are changing. So that's why it's really important for me to share this information with other people so that you can, well, if you're on my fractal, you're here to help other people actually transition into this new energy, this new consciousness. So these are the locks. There's 8 locks and they don't change, but the keys change. See? Right there. So I wanted to talk about today, so I was meditating on what is my fractal, where's my fractal stuck right now. And so I wanted to talk about this. So this is the first lock. And so the old key of the cross of planning is 32. And then the new key is 57. Okay, so what does that mean? So this is like you're at a crossroads now. A lot of people are at this crossroads on their path. And are they going to choose the old cross of planning way, which is the 32? And what represents that is money. And then the new path, the new energy is this 57, and this is courage. It's courage. So the lock is the first gate right there, and it comes off the south right there. So that's the lock. The lock doesn't change, but this is the old key that used to open this lock, right? And now this isn't going to work anymore. And now this is the new key, the 57. It's going to open up this lock, and this is the sleeping phoenix. So we're going to experience this more and more and more. So what does this mean? Well, the first gate, it's about expression, right? So this is the self. You're expressing from the self, and it's creativity. There's a lot of creativity in the first gate, and this is the pure creative lock of self-expression. It's the door to authenticity, because on the other side of that is the 8. But it only opens when the frequency is genuine. So the lock refuses imitation energy here. So 32, the old key of the 32, this is the instinct for continuity. It's all about the tribe, right? So there's fear of failure in the 32nd gate. And maybe go check it out if you've got the 32, right? So if we go back here, just so you can see it. So the 32 is off the spleen. You see the 32? That's the old key for the first gate. And then the new key is the 57 right there. That's the new key that's going to open up this first gate. So the 32 is about the fear of failure. It's about survival-based success. So it's money. It represents money, status, proving your worth. And this is the collective's old currency. It's an old currency. And this is like work hard, stay loyal, follow the plan, do what your mother did, do what your father did, do the 10 steps to success, how other people have followed these same rules, and you'll be successful. Follow the plan, work hard, and you'll be safe. And that system is collapsing now. So gate 57 is now the new, right? The new key. And 57 is the whisper. It's intuition, right? And look where it is. It's not up here in the ajna. It's not the third eye intuition. This is your body's intuition. So this is the soft voice of your intuitive clarity. And so it's the shadow of unease. It's the gift of intuition, and it's the city of clarity. So this new way of knowing, I know that I know. I don't know why I know, I just know. You know without proof, right? The 32 wants proof. You have no proof with the new key. You're just sensing the truth in the now, right? The 32 is all about strategy and what worked in the past, right? It's memory. 32 holds your ancestral memory. And the 57 is, I know that this is true, right? I know I have clarity here. It's a whisper. It's coming from your body. It doesn't rely on continuity. It's not going back to the past. Well, that's not going to work because it didn't work for Joe Blow, 10 years ago, or Sally. No, it's about the now. It's about the now. And it relies on coherence. So that means that your body and your mind and your heart and your soul are all one. They're all in coherence here. So the door of the first gate your true self-expression, right? It's very creative. Opens when you stop trying to buy your way. The 32, you stop trying to buy your way into that first lock, right? You're vibrating your way in, right? So you're vibrating your way in. So okay, so what does this mean then? Well, Uranus in the gate 8, right? Because Uranus is in there until April. What it's doing is it's sending an electric shock of originality, right? And which is authenticity is the new currency. So let's use some examples here, right? So somebody spent 15 years building their career, a respectable career, right? They followed every rule. They got the degree. They went to school, they got their degree, they got promoted, they saved up for their retirement, and now suddenly they just feel hollow, right? They feel empty. They can't find meaning in that structure anymore. The carrot's not working anymore. You know, the cross of planning was very, very materialistic. People were driven by materialism, and that's that 32. Right? Accruing money and material things, and that's starting to collapse. And you see, we're all feeling it. There's just this emptiness inside. This isn't enough to motivate me. But it used to be, right? It used to be for your ancestors, and maybe for you for a time, but now it feels empty. It feels hollow. So you can feel disillusioned. You might be burned out with what you're doing. Right? If you're in corporate America, there's like an existential dread. So why is the 32nd key is all about preserve the system. There's a system out there, and how do I fit into this system? Our educational system was all about directing us towards that. Like, how do we keep this system alive? This is what you have to do. The 16, right? The 9, focus on skills, and then the 16 is the skills, and then you give, right? The tribal bargain. You offer these skills, your time and your energy in exchange for safety and security. That's not working anymore, right? That's not working anymore. So it no longer fits this lock. Right? Because the lock, this is about speaking your truth, and this isn't true anymore. So they're not in coherence. So you may look successful on paper, but you're starving for authenticity. A lot of humans are feeling this right now. So the old bargain was preserve, right? Preserve to belong. Don't rock the boat. You just come in and you make this system better. So gate 32 says, prove your value by helping to sustain what already is built. So, right? So there you are. It's not about your authenticity. It's about how can you make this system better for us? That's the 32. Preserving its continuity. So since 1615, it was like, that work, the 9-to-5 job, the pension plan, the college career ladder, it worked for people. And these were the tribal continuity mechanisms that made sure that the tribe survived. So it's very, very ancient, right? This 32. So now the lock of the gate 1 is about authentic creative identity. Refuses. It won't open anymore with these old keys. So let's look at let's ground it, right? Because I'm really into grounding this knowledge so that it really sits, gets in to with your nervous system. It really lands. So you're understanding this energy. So let's use example, right? The corporate professional. She'll stay in a job that drains her because it's stable. She's getting this steady paycheck, right? Everybody in her life approves of her. Family approves of her. but she hides her true ideas. She's got these creative ideas, but she hides them in meetings, and only speaks when she's sure that she'll be approved by others. So the old key, that's the old key, and the old key is if I play it safe, I'll be secure. Don't rock the boat. I'll play it safe. So the result is your creativity is replaced by compliance. So the first gate stays locked, doesn't open it up, and your originality never gets a voice, right? It's the program. It's the program. Let's look at another example, maybe a parent or a caregiver. So the parent or caregiver, they organize their whole life around keeping everyone safe and fed. But secretly they long to explore, right? They explore new things, a new hobby, maybe an artistic practice or something like that. They want to change careers or travel. So the old key, what is the old key says, don't be selfish, right? Don't be selfish. It's selfish to want more. You should be happy with what you have. So the result here is the caregiver, the parent, their own creative spark is buried under responsibility. So they preserve, that's the 32nd word, they preserve the family legacy, but they lose their aliveness, their personal aliveness, that first gate. And then maybe this small business owner, so she's in terms of marketing, she's looking at what other people do, right? Other competitors, and she copies them, the same tone, the same template, because it works for them. So it's got to work for me. So the old key, right? The old 32 says, well, it's proven. It's proven to work. It can't fail. But the result is, right? The brand of your business feels generic, uninspired, and hollow. No real resonance because the door of the first gate won't open because it only responds to authentic frequency now, right? And maybe let's look at the spiritual seeker, right? So this is the spiritual person. They've studied all these paths and traditions, and they mimic teachers. What is the teacher doing? I'm going to do that too. They collect certifications to make them feel legitimate. Okay, I'm going to go to, right, become a yoga teacher, and I'm going to get certified in this, and I'm just going to follow what my teacher tells me to do and just mimic them. And the old key is if I earn credentials, right, and my diplomas and my certifications, then I'll be worthy. So the result is she's preserving other people's paths, right? So you're preserving other people's paths and not embodying your own. It's not true for you. So the lock won't turn. The first lock won't turn until she trusts her direct knowing. That's the 57. Your direct knowing. You're not mimicking someone else, right? So this is the shift that's happening for the cross of the sleeping phoenix, is we're shifting from the 32 to the 57. So this is about you trust what's alive in the moment with the 57. You don't need proof, right, to know that your intuition is valuable. You don't need proof of that. You know that you know. I don't know why I know, I just know, and that's what I trust. And if it's true for you, and this is what you say, if it's true for me in this moment, that's enough. That's enough. I don't need to go around and try to get validation from other people or other systems and strategy. Will this work? I need to get a business plan, blah, 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 blah. That's the old way. It's just enough as it is, your intuition. It's about trusting your intuition. And then what else? So this will swing open when you start to embrace this new energy. The first gate will start to swing open, and that's your creativity floods through you, right? It floods through everyday acts. It will flood through you. How you speak, how you dress, how you cook, how you solve problems, how you relate to others. So this isn't about, because it's very creative, the first line, and a lot of, it's not just about being an artist, right? It's not only just about that, it's about being real, right? This is about being real this time. So authenticity in itself becomes the new art form, that you're the canvas, right? You and your authenticity. Okay. And then what do we want to look at too? Oh, just a little blur. This fits with the teachings when I'm talking to you about right now. The 9 to 5, there's a 9, we're seeing this out in the world right now, and maybe you're one of them. The 9 to 5 revolt, right? So this is the body. You may be experiencing this right now. Your body is literally rebelling with anxiety, fatigue, even illness, when you're forced into schedules that don't match your natural rhythm, right? So this is like, you can't tolerate traditional work environments. You need to be punch the clock and be here at 9 or 8:30 a.m. sharp. You don't leave until till it's 5 p.m. even though your work's done. You got to sit there, right? You can't tolerate that anymore. It's because your nervous system is mutating towards this other path, right? So your nervous system, this is real, this mutation. It's your nervous system is mutating more to this 57, especially if you have it or you have the locks and keys that I talked about, right? So the 57, you're mutating towards there, but then you've got the not self that wants to go here. No, I need the security. I need the steady cash. I need what's familiar. Right? This is the unknown. This is fear of the future, the 57. So you're trying to force continuity and compliance. You see, you're in this, and a lot of people are in this space. They can feel the new path, but then they're sensing the old path is still there too. So it's like, we're not quite into the 2027 energy. Or there can be the money disillusionment. People are chasing financial stability. They're hitting their goals. Maybe they're hitting their money goals, but they still feel unsafe. So I have everything I thought I wanted, right? But I feel nothing. So the 32 is equated with money and with worth. And the lock only opens now for frequency. Not from your creativity is not going to open by how much money and material things you've accrued. It's frequency now. Or the relationship breakdown. The old key love says, the old key of 32, stay even if you're dying inside. It's the right thing for you to do, right? But the symptom is we're seeing this more and more. People are splitting up. Right? Divorce is spiking. People are leaving long-term marriages or family systems that suffocate them. It's because of this. The 32 doesn't work anymore. It's not going to open up your self-expression and your creativity, right? Because it can't match this, right? The first lock now wants truthful, authentic connection. Right? So back to my, this is the kind of work that we'll be exploring in the Solar Plexus Mutation online retreat that starts November 21st to the 23rd. And there's so much information Thought it would be way, way too long for these YouTube videos. And you don't have the experience of it really landing like directly to you, like with the 57. And this is the consciousness that I'm aligning with when I put these retreats together, especially this one, because it's directly on the solar plexus mutation. So one of the things that we'll be exploring in the solar plexus mutation is your red Saturn. And the red Saturn holds your ancestral fear patterns that show up in your nervous system. Remember what I talked about, like the two paths? So it's understanding your inherited fear patterns and the body's ancient defense system. So we'll explore how ancestral memory lives in your nervous system. And then that will come with the powerful rebirthing. Kundalini Yoga has some powerful, powerful kriyas. And so there will be a rebirthing for that to completely let that go. You'll be learning about the old keys more in depth and these locks and what all this means. And then the new keys will be part of the solar plexus mutation online retreat too. And we're closing out this 400-year cycle. And what does this mean? And what's the future, right? What the future is bringing, what changes we need to make as a species. And if you're a past life Cathar, or if you have major Scorpio placements in your chart, or if you have these keys, right? If you have these keys, if you have the 37, the 40, the 9, the 16, or the 61, 62, 32, 42, or you have the 55, the 59, the 34, the 20, or the 54, the 53, the 57, and 51, if you have these keys, especially the cross of the sleeping phoenix keys, then you're a catalyst for this energy. Your body, your whole being, your aura is a catalyst for this new consciousness. And if you have the locks, the 25, 46, 10, 15, 13, 7, 1, 2, then you're the stabilizer. Right? So check your chart. And if you have these, then you really need to come to this retreat and get prepared, right? Get to prepared, because the mutation is moving through each individual. And not everybody's going to feel this. Some people are like, you're crazy. What do you mean you've got vertigo and you're exhausted? They're not going to understand because they're not part of the mutation, right? But if you're feeling the symptoms and you're really resonating with my messages, then you're part of this mutation. And there's knowledge that you need to know, Okay, so, and especially if you're a Cathar, right? If you have past life memory as a Cathar, there's a link down below in my information box. I did a video on it, and there's a little 45-minute documentary by this historian that you can look at too. Okay. Because this is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's happening in the body. Okay. So if we go back, let's go back to this, to Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus is the great awakener, and it's a major part. And it's said, the ancient yogis said that Saturn would start to lose its power over the earth as the Aquarian age, this new consciousness, this new age, the age of Aquarius comes in. And that would be Uranus, right? Uranus. And so let's look at just the... what do I want to look at here? This one. Okay, so let's look at the phases. So we've got 4 phases here. So Uranus and Taurus since May 18th, right, to mid-2025. What was going on there, right? So this was the revolution. So this is shaking loose. Uranus was shaking loose. It's Taurus. Taurus rules money, right? money, the earth, tangible things, material things. Well, it was shaking up that 32nd gate, the 32nd gate tribal bargain. I'm what I own and what I produce and what I preserve. So Taurus rules your value, your body, your safety. So Uranus here would jolt the nervous system. It was jolting the nervous system. The money systems that jolted, right? Food chains and our body awareness. There's a lot of people now aware of their body, and that's because of Uranus. We got woken up to that, to our body and how important our body is. And human design is all about form. It's about embracing the form consciousness. So it's been about deprogramming the body. The body no longer wants to move through the world for survival, right? That's the old way. Now it wants to move through frequency, right? The body wants to be the holder of your frequency now. It's not just about keeping your body alive. So the key word for Uranus and Taurus in this first phase was disruption of security. So every comfort zone got electrified. That's why it was impossible to kind of find security, right? And we're in a first line theme since 1961. 1961, it was all about being motivated to find security. And here Uranus is like, no, you're not going to find any security. That's why we've seen all the chaos out in the world, all the weather changes too and shifts, this Uranus and Taurus. And all your comfort zones got electrified and shaken up. So you could discover what real stability feels like. And the real stability is frequency. It's the frequency. It's not your form. It's not the form. It's frequency. And then it took a sneak peek into Gemini on July 7th to November 7th. And so this was the first inhale of the new nervous system era. So Gemini rules the nervous system. It rules language, data, connectivity. And so for 4 months, we got a preview, right, of the post-Taurus world into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, because it will be in Gemini. Uranus will be in Gemini. So this was information frequency, went to AI, right? This is AI, language, intuitive communication upgrades, and old stories collapse fast. Narratives have collapsed. We're seeing that. Things that we've been taught about our history, that's starting to collapse. This was Uranus and Gemini. Narratives that kept people divided, that would be Uranus and Gemini. We saw that polarization, right? We're still seeing it now. They start glitching. The narratives start glitching. So the nervous system buzzed with Uranus and Gemini, and literally electrical overstimulation as consciousness tries to run a faster operating system, right? So again, it's our body. So now we're going back into Uranus and Taurus, and we're embodying, we're consolidating, we're recalibrating what happened, right? Since July to November. Okay. And then when it moved, and one of the things too, what Uranus was doing was repatterning the way that we perceive the world, Uranus and Gemini, right? So there now it's a gift, right? It's going back into Taurus. And this is the integration, right? Integration window here. And remember, it's still in the 8th gate. So it's about you being your authentic self. Your authentic self. So this can be, you can go through physical fatigue or a detox as the body recalibrates now. So there could be sudden shifts with Uranus and Taurus on how money and resources and relationships are valued. So the last purge of attachment to the old economy of safety, this old way. So it's about embracing this new way. So the key word is grounding, right? Grounding, getting back into your body and really trusting your body, taking care of your body as you recalibrate so you're prepared for this in April. Uranus going back into Gemini for 7 years. And this is when the real mutation starts to happen. And remember, Saturn and Neptune in February are in 0 degrees Aries conjunct. So that's a sign of a total reboot. And then Uranus and Gemini, it's like, let's go for the next 7 years. So this is where moving from material awareness, that would be that 32, right? So we're full on in the mutation right now, but it's really going to start to spark, right? Especially when all the outer planets move into air and fire signs, right? Out of water, with Saturn and Neptune out of Pisces into Aries. So we're moving from material awareness, which is Taurus, to a mental auric frequency awareness, which is Gemini. So this is communication becomes energetic, frequency recognition, right? This is like, do I resonate with this or not? It's not about being persuaded and manipulated through speech, right? So the new communication model is frequency. Global systems will fragment into micro networks of resonance. AI becomes a mirror of our internal telepathy as well. So AI is part of this Uranus and Gemini. I want to do another video on AI because there's so much fear around AI. And AI is just a tool. It's just a tool, and it's about your consciousness, right? There's a lot of people that give their power over to AI, and AI is going to control us and do this and do that to it. Yeah, it will, because it's a mirror. AI is a mirror, and it will do that to people who give all their power over to it, right? So it's a tool, just like fire was a tool, just like when horse and buggy, when we moved from the horse and buggy to the car, right? So there's always a lot of fear when it comes with this change. So I'll do a video on that down the road a little bit more when I meditate more on it. Okay. And then the new economy will run on originality, authenticity, and coherence. And gate 1 will fully open for those that are ready for it, right? Through the gate 8. And the key word is electric. It's electric communication, electric communication. So you'll feel your mind with Uranus and Gemini. You'll feel your mind go faster and faster and faster and faster. Your nervous system craving to move faster and faster. Freer ways of connection, and your body might protest. Remember, we have to work with the body. The body might protest and want to slow down and integrate. So that will be you to find that balance. So when Uranus settles back down in 2026, this story is gone. The 32nd gate is gone when Uranus goes into Gemini. And this is about the money, right? It's about the money. It's the old way. It's the old system. And it's breaking down. So don't force it, right? The 57 is about what's alive right now. What's alive? Not the shoulds. I should do this. I should do that. That's the old key. It's like, what's alive for me right now? That's what you want to trust. Okay, so this is when you start living in the now, right? 57 is living in the now. So Uranus is going to shock, right? It's going to shock. It's going to create shocks where you've been faking it. Wherever you've been playing a role and faking and being a not self, Uranus will shock that. So if you're still expressing from this old 32 motive, I'll create what sells. So maybe you have a creative idea, but it's not, that won't sell. I got to do what sells. I got to do what other people have done in the past who are successful. This is your system will start to fry, right? You'll go burn out. Your audiences, people will ghost you, right? If you're still trying to do this old way. But if you express from the 57 clarity, your frequency goes viral. People are going to be looking for authenticity. That's the new currency. Not because of a strategy, but because it's alive and they can feel that you're alive. You're not AI, you're alive. I can feel your frequency. So, gate 8 is the loudspeaker of authenticity, and Uranus says, speak your weird, speak your freak, right? Put up your freak flag. This is what 1-8 wants. That's your authenticity. And it's not contrived. It's just natural to who you are, right? So it's either speak that or you'll be silenced by your fear. Your voice will be cut off, right? Your voice will be cut off. And this is what I see, like people will be speaking. I already have this experience with people. Some people are speaking. I can't hear them. I don't understand them. And is it because I'm deaf? No, it's because their frequency is not in resonance with mine and they don't understand me, right? So this is you coming into resonance with yourself, your own authentic voice, and then you speak from that place and you draw in your soul tribe, right? That understanding is there. It's going to be quite something, right? It's going to be quite something. And I'll be talking more about that in the Solar Plexus Mutation online retreat. Okay. So let's go into like value. I like to give you some hot tips here. So Uranus and Taurus is really showing you that you need to know your worth. You need to know your worth. You need to honor your authenticity. And you haven't been doing that because we live in a not self world. It's the not self that's been celebrated and applauded, and they're the successful ones, right? So this is what you're letting go of, right? So it's retraining yourself, retraining your mind and how you think, retraining how you perceive yourself and your worth. Okay, so Taurus is the inner ground of self-worth, the body, the senses, and it's basically Taurus says, I deserve to exist exactly as I am. I deserve to exist exactly as I am. But when that current gets blocked, right, people stop trusting. You stop trusting your own value, right? So what keeps you stuck here? Here's a few things here. Externalized worth. So this is the tribal, right? The 32nd gate, which came from, I got to prove that I'm useful, right? I got to make money. I have to be productive. I have to do things for other people's approval. You learned if I produce, if I'm busy, if I'm productive, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. We've lived in a cult of productivity, right? And that's collapsing. So this is what happens is your output, right? I'm burned down. I just can't. Maybe your body just breaks down, right? This is when the self-worth starts to collapse, right? It starts to collapse when you start to slow down. But the Taurus lesson, this isn't true anymore. This is the old way. It's collapsing. The Taurus lesson now, Uranus and Taurus, is my value is intrinsic. It's not transactional. I'm not just valuable when I'm doing things for other people, when I'm being productive. My value is always there just because I exist. That's Taurus. My being, right, is valuable. Just existing on this planet is valuable. Okay. And then there's body disconnection. So Taurus feels worth through the body. So if someone's always in the mind, the head on a stick, they're anxious, they're disassociated, they're overworking, they can't sense their value because they can't feel themselves. They're not in their body, they're in their head, right? They can't feel their worth because they're disconnected from the body. So Uranus and Taurus is like shaking people back into embodiment. If you're too much in your head, Uranus will come along and then, you'll have an accident or something. Something will happen where you're forced to deal with your body, or you'll attract some illness where you're forced to be in your body and not in your head. Right? So this can come through exhaustion, illness, or a sudden change, a shock. So you have to listen to your body again. So what you do is you just slow down. Taurus wants you to slow down, to nourish yourself and to rest. And then the third thing, why you don't value yourself, is comparison. So the 32nd gate says, what worked for others must work for me. Look at them out there. They're successful. So I better do what they're doing. I'm comparing myself to other people. And what is this breed is mediocrity. That's the shadow of the 8, mediocrity. And this strains your authenticity. So people measure their worth by how well they replicate, right? Instead of how true they resonate. You can see this on YouTube. There's YouTube channels that are all about reacting to a creator, somebody who's original and authentic, and then this person's reacting to them. Their whole channel is built on that. That would be the mediocrity, because they don't see their own true intrinsic value. Right? So the new frequency here, right, for comparison is my contribution can't be compared because it's an original frequency. That's what your authenticity is. There's 8 billion people on the planet, they say. There's only one you. There's only your frequency, your original frequency. So it's kind of, foolish to compare yourself. You can't compare yourself to anyone because there's only you. There's only you. And then the inherited guilt and scarcity. This is through your ancestors. You've been taught that it's selfish to value yourself. So you undercharge, you overgive, or you hide your gifts. And the nervous system associates visibility with danger. This is the high priestess in hiding. This is the Cathar past life. Your nervous system is associating visibility with danger. So now it's about retraining the body to equate pleasure, ease, and receiving with safety. And then the forgetting to receive. Taurus is yin. Taurus is very receptive. It's receptive earth. So when someone's always giving, guiding, producing, they block the in-breath. They're in the exhale. They're outputting. So value needs circulation. The giving and the receiving need to be in balance, right? So when you don't value yourself or your contribution, it's not that you lack skill and purpose. It's because your body doesn't feel safe being valuable. So that's right. This is what Uranus and Taurus is teaching you. Your body needs to feel safe, right? Being valuable. So you're worthy of existing, resting, and being seen without needing to prove it. Okay. So we look at, did I put the cards up here? Just a sec. I think I did. Oh, good. Okay. So Uranus in the 8th gate. Let's look at the tarot cards here. Uranus in the 8th gate. So Uranus is the tower, right? The tower card in tarot. So this is sudden revelation. Its structures are collapsing. Truth is breaking through the fakery here. And it's the lightning bolt. Uranus is like the lightning bolt when Uranus was discovered in 1781, electricity came on the scene. Uranus is very connected to electricity. right? So this is the lightning bolt, knocks down everything that's fake, that's built on fakery, that's not true and not authentic to your soul. So Uranus is moving through your chart and the collective chart like a tower, like electrical, right? Destabilizing, non-negotiable. Uranus doesn't care. Uranus wants you that mask off your face, wants you to be you. So you can feel it in your nervous system first, like anxiety, chaos, disruption. But the purpose is purification. So the old form has to break before the authentic signal can come online, before your authenticity comes online. You gotta go through this purification process first. And then the gate 8, right? This is the star. So you can see that they come, right? After the tower, 16 comes 17 in the major arcana, and that's the star card. And that's the 8. That's the 8th gate. So this is the moment that the authentic frequency that's been liberated for you, it hits the throat. You see, look, the 1-8 hits the throat. The 8's in the throat. So this is the star that's pouring, the pouring motion. So she's kneeling, right? So it's coming right. Here's how it is. So the creativity is liberated from the tower, the Uranus in the tower, and then it wants to be shared. It wants to be shared, and that's the 8th gate. This is the gate of contribution. So you look at the star card as an archetype. She's kneeling, right, at the edge of creation. And so one foot's on the land. She's got one foot on the land, and then she's got one foot in the water. So the water is the spirit and the land is matter. And she's pouring the essence from the first gate into both realms, the spirit and matter. So the jug into the water, she's returning inspiration to the collective unconscious, re-anchoring the field. And then the jug on the earth here is manifesting through embodiment. So that's her voice, it's her art, it's her teaching, it's her song, it's her frequency. And she doesn't own what she pours. She just keeps the circuit open, right? So there's the 8 and there's the 1 there. Okay. But for this flow to happen, we need the Uranus, right? So Uranus is going to shake up anywhere where your creativity is being blocked, right? It doesn't matter if you have this natally or not. Okay. And now let's go to the reading. The reading here. Okay. I'm just looking at the time and it's 1 hour and 8 minutes. And that's our 1-8 channel. Okay, so we're in the flow here. Okay. So let's look at these cards. So this is for the fractal. And it's all about this Uranus in the 8th gate. So where's the fractal trying to open the old lock? Where's the fractal trying to open this using the old key, right, to open up that lock? So still trying to measure their worth by the tit for tat, by the chain, by exchange, right? They're still measuring worth by exchange. Well, if I give enough, I'll receive love, right? If I overgive, I'll receive more clients, more validation. And the 32nd gate bargain energy is value through transaction is still running. So this is the old 32nd gate. Now, if you jumped to this reading, you need to go back and watch the beginning so you have a context here. Because the tarot read is directly connected to the teachings here. They're not separate. So this is This is you're learning the difference between charity and true balance of giving and taking. It's like what between like sacrifice and then true giving and receiving. So it's time to give from overflow, not from the hope of balance and fairness. Like, oh, if I give, they'll get the hint and they'll give back. No, you're going to be giving from overflow now. This is the new way. This is the new way. You want to embrace the new key, which is the 57. Your body will let you know if you're in overflow or not through through clarity, intuition of the body. So the message is to stop proving that you're generous, stop proving that you're a good person, and start receiving as an equal participant in the flow. That's what this card is saying. So what truth wants to rise from the body is the Fool. So this means pure reset for this Uranus transit. Your nervous systems are begging for lightness and risk again. Your nervous system wants to feel alive again, right? You're not controlling. That's the Four of Pentacles. Like, I just want to control. I want to grip onto what I have. This is like what wants to rise from your body is to let go and trust, right? Let go and trust the divine now. It's time to take a risk again. It's time to invest in myself again. So you've been overly responsible with the Six of Pentacles, and the Fool says your next evolution won't come from trying to master this. Your next evolution comes from moving. You're to move. You're to make a risk. That's the 57, right? So it's the quantum leap from fear to trust. And so this is leaping. Where are you leaping? You're leaping into the now. You're trusting the now moment. So the message is your body wants freedom. It doesn't want safety. It wants to be free in the now present moment. So how to let your unique voice flow is the Moon. So expression right now is mystery. It's not certainty. So the Moon says your intuitive feminine current is coming online. Your true feminine voice is coming online, and that's your real voice. And your mind has no control over this, right? So this means speaking, creating, and posting, even if you don't know what it means. You're just drawn to it. This is about expression. Right? So it means the confusion is because it's the Moon reversed. There's clarity coming. This is the 57th gate. So trust what's coming for you in this present now moment. Even though you don't know what it means. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm just saying it. Right? You're working with a client. Maybe you're a massage therapist and something's coming up for you. And it's like, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm just going to say it. I don't need to prove it, or why am I saying this? And I read this in a book and that in a book. It's like, no, it's just coming out of me, right? And that's what you're to trust, the now moment, the now moment. So you want to let your art be, you want to trust what's coming from your subconscious. That's what this is saying. So your authenticity is felt. This is a lunar card, so your authenticity is felt. It's not explained, right? You don't need to defend it, right? You don't need to prove it. It's coming from deep within you. And that's enough. That's the 57th gate. It's like there's truth here. It's alive in me. That's enough. That's enough. So what illusion about value must die? Ace of Cups reverse for you. This is the heartbreak. This is your heartbreak of overgiving, of not knowing your value and your worth, that you've overgiven to other people, that you've poured from an empty cup, believing that love meant service. Love meant sacrifice. Love meant that I sacrifice myself. Right? I don't give to myself. I give to other people, but it's from an empty cup. So says that self-love isn't selfish. You need to let that go, that self-love is selfish. It's not. That's not true. It's sacred containment. It's you filling up your cup first. Self-love is you filling up your cup first, and then you give from overflow. Your cup's overflowing. You just want to give from that place. You're not giving from sacrifice here. That's an old program that has to go. So until you refill your own cup, every offering is going to leak energy. It will be leak energy, and then your body pays the price. So the message is to stop bleeding, like sacrificing your compassion to prove that you're worthy, and you want to receive your own medicine first. Right? So if you're a healer, a life coach, a giver, then you want to flip it first. I'm give to myself first, and then I give to other people. I receive the gift first, and then I give it to other people, right? What frequency the star is pouring now, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Pentacles reversed, and the Six of Wands. So cycles are turning. You can't stop the wheel from turning. Fate is aligning with new timing, right? So Five of Pentacles reversed is you're recovering from scarcity consciousness. This is the poverty card. Prosperity is everywhere. This is the Taurus teaching. Prosperity, abundance is everywhere, is everywhere. This is the mindset that keeps it from reaching you, is scarcity consciousness. This is the gripping that we're in right now because there's uncertainty, right? And this is what we have to embrace. The world that we knew before 2020 is gone. We have to grieve that world. It's gone. We're not going to return back there. This is a new way of being. Five of Pentacles reversed is like you have to get out of this scarcity thinking, right? This is what you're creating with your mind, and it's the mind trying to grip onto the old way, right? So it's reunion. The good news, though, it is reversed, right? So this is reunion. You're reuniting with the self. You're reuniting with the trust, right? And the wheel's helping you with that. With the field of support, like feeling supported by the divine. That's coming back online. And then the Six of Wands is a great card. This is recognition. It's authentic celebration. Others recognizing you because you're recognizing yourself. Right? Especially if you're a projector, right? Projectors they're waiting to be recognized by the other types, but they have to recognize their own value first. And they also, projectors forget this, you're here to recognize other people. You're here to recognize their authenticity. Right? So this is like the giving from overflow after you recognize yourself first. Appreciate your own value and your gifts, and then you start giving to others. Okay. So this is the emotional drought is ending for you. The tide's turning, Wheel of Fortune, and the one that dares to make the leap, and I hope that's you that's listening. You're going to dare to make the leap and speak from your intuition, right? Are about to be seen. Six of Wands, you're about to be recognized. You can't hide anymore, High Priestess in hiding. They'll see you. They'll see you. So the message is the wheel is turning from survival to celebration. This is the old way. This is the first line theme that's coming to an end in 2027. So you're meant to trust your worth. Can you say that to yourself right now? I trust my worth. I'm worthy, right? I'm worthy. Just by my existence, just being here on the planet, I'm worthy. And the world's going to start to reflect that back to you. When you recognize your own self-worth, then the world reflects that back to you. Okay, so it's safe to shine, safe to come out of hiding, it's safe to shine, right? And the light within you, right? The light within you is to grow, to expand that flame, right? Allow that flame, that your authenticity to start to burn, right? And it's not for other people's approval. It's just for truth. This is your Satnam. For you to be in truth is to let that flame of authenticity burn. And others will find it, right? But you're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for you, for your divine self. Okay. So there's the fractal. Okay. And let's go for the twin flame. Make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay. The twin flame. So this is for the Uranus transit through this 8th gate until April. Right here. So if you resonate with this reading and you're like, but I'm not a twin flame, I've never met anybody that had that kind of effect on me, but I resonate with this, and yeah, you are in the twin flame journey. You just haven't met them yet, right? So what are you being asked to stop doing, twin flame? What have you been asked to stop doing, divine feminine? And it's the full reversed. So this is leaping just to avoid, right? It's about escaping the void. So the reversal says the impulse to act for the sake of motion, for the sake of just being busy, distracting yourself, is draining your energy. You're meant to pause before the next jump, right? So you don't want to rush it. The new current, the new authentic flame is building naturally. So you don't want to force it. You don't want to force spontaneity, right? So this can come from boredom. Uranus in Taurus is saying slow down, right? Slow down, take your time. Don't be leaping into new things because you want to avoid what the feelings that you're running away from. That's why people stay busy and distracted. They're terrified to be with their own self, right? And to feel what they've been running away from. So this is like to stop going from one thing to the next. It's like the bee and the flowers, the bee that goes from one flower to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and never stays long enough, right? To enjoy the nectar. So stop being busy. Then the truth that will free you is the world. So this means something's completed. The last cycle is truly done. This last cycle that you've been in is done. It's finished. Now you're coming back into Uranus in the 8th, right? It was in Gemini. So you finish something. It's done. You can trust that. It's done. The world. It's interesting, right? Because this is the 0 card and then this is the end. They're like bookends. But the ego still wants to be involved, right? So the energy's completed, whatever cycle you were in, but the ego wants to keep editing it, right? You've integrated the old curriculum. You graduated from that lesson. So freedom now comes from closure rather than new beginnings. So this is a closing up cycle for you now, but it's already done, right? Because the full reverse is to say, don't be leaping into anything new. You're completing something here. So closure, whatever you need to do to close the cycle. Energetically, it's done, but we have things to do on the earth plane to finish and close up that door. And what's the old desire is burning away is the sun reversed. The sun reversed. So this is the need for constant visibility. or external joy, needing to find joy in the external world. So this is a detox. You're going through a detox of this pretending that I'm bright, right? Which is like, look at me, I'm happy and everything's great in my life, and it's a big mask. It's all fake, right? So you don't have to shine on demand. I've got to be the happy one for my friends, the happy one for my clients. I have to have it all together, even though it's fake. This is saying you don't need to do this anymore, right? This is like to be real. It's time for you to start to be real and to trust this is pretending that you have vitality and you're happy. Your vitality will return. This is the fake it to make it card. That's all fake. It's inauthentic. This is your vitality will return. Your happiness will return if you allow yourself to feel this flatness. If you allow yourself to feel depressed, if you allow yourself to feel down, don't be afraid that you're always going to live there. This card is saying you've got to feel it. You've got to stop being busy and avoid it and just feel it, and your vitality will start to improve, right? You can be unsparkly. You can be the sad one this time. Maybe your friends are all the sad ones and they always come to you when they're not doing very well. And you're the happy one. You're the together one. Well, you can be the sad one now. It's your turn, right? To be sad and unhappy. Just be real. That's what this card is saying. And then what truth must be spoken is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords upright is clean and sovereign communication. The king cuts through the sentimentality. The King of Swords is sober, right? He speaks from his principles. And so you may need to articulate a boundary. You may need to speak a boundary or a clear direction that ends confusion. No drama, just precision, right? Precision. This is speaking your truth with precision. You're not beating around the bush. You're not trying to control how they'll experience your truth. You're just like, this is it. This isn't working for me anymore, right? This is what I want. That's what you want. They're not aligned. We're not aligned. It's just what it is, right? This is like the sober looking at it. It's like not looking at it in fantasy anymore and speaking direct communication, no wishy-washy, right? This is your voice, your authentic voice coming online. And that's the King of Swords, right? Precise with your language. Precise with your language. Powerful card here. This is the truth that needs to be spoken in some part of your life, whatever that is. And what structure must fall? The Five of Swords reversed. And this is the battle mentality. Like everything's a battle. Everything's a fight. Everything's an argument. Right? Stop fighting. Maybe you've got a relationship, a karmic relationship where you're fighting or you're in a situation. You know, your karmic relationship doesn't just have to be romantic. It could be like a family member or something that you have a lot of karma with, and that you argue, right? And what you're doing, it's the ego that needs to prove that you're worthy, and right? Needs to get the last word in, needs to be right at all costs. This is like lay down the sword now. This is wasting your energy, right? You know your worth. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need that other person to see you as worthy. You're done, right? You know your worth. You don't need anybody to tell you that you're worthy because you already know you're worthy. So this is stop trying to win. So this is like the detachment from the ego clashes, right? Because the only one that everybody loses when you're in an ego battle with another ego. You lose because you're hemorrhaging your energy, right? So this is just lay it down. And it's so empowering, when you start to shift and change your consciousness. And you may think like, oh, I don't know if I've really changed that much. And then you come across somebody that gets you, they hook you, they can hook you. And then the hook comes, the bait, right? The bait, the fishing hook, the little bait comes in front of you. You don't bite it. It's like you don't bite it. It's like, oh, I know where this is going. Like this circular argument. My voice gets raised. I get tense and my nervous system's activated. There's all this stress in my body. Nah, I don't want it. I don't need to fight with that person and argue with that person. And you just put the script down. The script that the two of you have been in, right? With the Five of Swords reverse. You just put it down. It's like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. So empowering. Little tiny change, right? That's the awareness. It's like a little crack of light comes in and it's like, oh, I can see what I'm doing. I can see what that other person's doing too, and I'm not playing this game anymore. Okay, so that's your peace. Peace. And I've mentioned this before. You want to keep your peace. That's the most valuable. And this is a Uranus and Taurus lesson too. Taurus loves peace, right? You don't let anybody destabilize your peace. You stay in your peace, right? Stay in your peace. That's the real victory, not winning an argument. This is the real victory, is you kept your peace, right? You left the situation. You got out of the script of arguing and fighting, and then you kept your peace. That's the victory. So that has to fall, right? This fighting. And then the bonus cards are the High Priestess reversed and then the Queen of Cups. And so the High Priestess reversed is the static. It's a static that you feel in your field, and it's being muffled by, you're not listening to your intuition. You can't hear your intuition. And it's by fatigue. Maybe you're tired, you're not resting, you're not taking care of your body, or you're in doubt, right? You doubt your intuition. But here the Queen of Cups is, and she says to come back to tenderness, come back to like Queen of Cups water, like hydrating yourself, be near water, be in water, right around water. Come back into your softness, come back into your feelings, right? Drop into your body and feel your heart, right? Long, deep breathing. Maybe do some yoga, like do something for your body to take care of your body. And this will restore. The High Priestess will go upright. Your intuition will come back when you take care of yourself and you relax, right? You relax. That's the best thing you can do for your spiritual journey, is to stay relaxed. I heard this story about a yogi that came to the West in the 60s, and he had one student. And one student, right away, he got her teaching. Okay, you go out and you teach. She's like, I can't teach anything. I don't know any of these kriyas or meditations. And he said, just teach people to relax, right? Teach people to relax. And the divine feminine really has to learn that, is to stay relaxed. You stay relaxed, and that's when your intuition comes online, right? Okay, so you want to pause the impulse to start new things and to stay busy, catch yourself, right? Do I really need to do this, or am I distracting myself? You want to honor what's complete. Something's completed in your life. You want to honor that, and you do what you have to do for closure, right? Tie up the loose ends, and then stop faking that you're all happy. You're all happy and life's great, and you know it's a big fake. You got the I'm fine face on. It's like to stop doing that. And then speak your truth. Speak your truth, King of Swords, and drop the old battles, whatever old battles that you've been in, drop them. And then rest into your feeling and let your intuition start to speak to you. Okay. So there we go with the cards. And we are at 1 hour and 34 minutes. So it's a little bit shorter than the last one. So just a reminder, everybody, and tune in, like close your eyes and tune in. And if you're being called to attend this the Solar Plexus Mutation online retreat, and we're going to be tapping into the brand new energy of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So the core dates are November 21st to the 23rd, right? But it's really 14 days because there's an integration meditation, then there's the completion meditation, and then you're in this private form the whole time for 14 days, and it will be gentle. I wanted to say that to the people that have been to prior retreats. This will be very, very gentle, much more gentle than my other retreats. Okay. So if you're feeling called, right, tune into that 57 in the now. It's like, oh, my body's lit up, right? We'll go check it out. Or no, it's not lit up, then don't check it out. But come to my website, and there's more information on that. And then my newsletter too. I'm going to put the schedule in the newsletter so people get a sense of what the teaching and the content will be. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and then YouTube, the YouTube community tab that I have. I post there daily and a lot on the daily transits, what's going on in the daily transits. And please like and subscribe. I always forget to say that with my videos. Okay, so take really good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, Sat Nam Aloha, everybody.